on. Alright, so we know what all the variables mean. That's great. Quick review. Now let's move on to identifying variables in a word problem. William, you want to read me my directions up here? Either from up here or on, it's also on your sheet.
No, I'm good.
What are we reading?
Read the following word problem and identify the numbers that represent pressure, volume, and time.
That should say temperature. I don't know why it says time. Alright, number 1. What we need to do while we're reading is make sure that we're annotating. When we see volume, we want to underline it. When we see temperature, we want to underline it. No matter what we see, we want to underline it, and we'll figure out what they are later. Alright, number 1. A gas has a volume of 800 milliliters. I'm going to underline that because that's definitely something. At 250 degrees Kelvin, that's definitely something too. And a pressure of 300 torr. Definitely another thing. What would the volume of the gas be at 500 degrees Kelvin and 600 torr of pressure? Okay. We have everything annotated, but now we have to figure out what box it fits into. Is it initial pressure? Is it secondary pressure? We need to figure this out.
800 is initial volume.
How do you know it's initial?
Because it says the gas has a volume of.
Okay, so we're starting at 800 milliliters?
Yeah, and then afterwards it says what would be the volume if the gas was at 500 degrees.
Okay, so volume 800 milliliters. Where should I put that here?
The first one. The first volume. The
Here?
initial volume, yeah.
Okay. 800 milliliters. 250 degrees Kelvin. Is that initial or final?
Initial.
Initial. And a pressure of 300 torr. Initial or final? Darren?
Yeah.
Initial. Alright, we have all the initials, so we must know that the last two things are not initial but final. 500 degrees Kelvin, where would that go in this box?
The last one.
The last one. Where would 600 torr
The
go?
first one.
The first one.
And then we're looking for the second volume.
How do you know that that's what we're looking for?
Because it says what would the volume of the gas be at 500 and 600.
Okay, so it says it in the word problem. What if you can't tell from the word problem? What's another way you can tell what we're looking for, Darren? How do we know that we're looking for our final volume? If you couldn't find it in the word problem, how can we tell that we're looking for V2 in this box?
Number.
Do we have one there? So if we don't have a number, do we know its value? No. So that's what we're looking for. We're going to put a question mark. Now this is where it gets more complicated. You can now open up these things. Yes, and you're going to set it up exactly like Jose did. So, you should set it up exactly like this, like the combined gas law equation. You have all the pieces. Make sure they're on the correct sides. We're not going to use these just yet, but we are very soon, so I want them to be set up. Does anyone need help?
Nope.
Or have we got it? Leave those off to the side for now. We're going to use them in about 5 minutes. You're getting ahead of yourself. We don't even have to do that yet. Does everyone have these notes? Can I move on to the second one? Because Because right now we're not solving yet. We're just identifying them in the word problem. Can I move on to the next one? Yes. Alright.
Cold.
Who wants to read the next one? Don't everyone jump at once. Carl, you want to go for it? No? Darren? You look excited. You want to read it or you want to pass it off to Jose?
Pass it off.
Alright, Jose, you're up. Number 2.
What is the volume of gas at 2 atm pressure and 200 degrees Kelvin if it's the original volume was 300 meters at 0.250 atm pressure and 400 degrees Kelvin?
Alright, raising our hands because I won't be able to listen to all these at one time. What is something I should underline in this word problem, Sarah?
The 2 ATM.
2 ATM. What else? William, what's one you would underline? In number 2.
200 degrees, Kevin.
Perfect. Carl? What else should I underline here?
Whatever.
400 degrees Kelvin.
Great.
We said Kevin.
Jose, what's another thing I would underline?
400 degrees Kelvin.
I already picked that.
0.250 atm.
Yep. And one more. Darren? What's our last one? Look up here. What haven't I underlined yet?
300
300 what?
liters.
Cats?
Liters.
Liter. Alright. Now we need to decide, are these initial or final? I'm going to read it again. What is the volume of a gas at 2 atm pressure and 200 degrees Kelvin if its original volume was 300 liters at 0.250 atm and 400 degrees Kelvin? What word in here might give us a clue about
It's original.
original? Does original mean first or last?
First.
Okay. So, is everything after this original or everything before this?
After.
After. Perfect, William. So 300 liters. Is that volume, temperature, or pressure? Darren? Volume. First or second?
First.
Perfect. Okay, so we did that one. I'm going to put a check. What about 0.250 atm, which, by the way, stands for atmosphere? Is that initial or final? Jose?
Initial. So,
0.250 atm.
Sorry, so
What is it, initial or final?
she can say, she said.
how about Jose though?
She wanted the spotlight.
What did you say, Sarah? Initial what though? Pressure or temp? Pressure.
There you go, Jose.
Alright, and what should I put for initial temperature?
400 kitty.
Okay,
That's how you do it, Raisin.
so we used these 3.
William.
We have 2 left.
But I'm done.
Someone help me out here. What am I going to put in final pressure?
Two.
2 ATM. Alright, we did that one. What's the last thing I should fill in, William?
200 K.
That's how you do it, William.
Look at you. No headphones? You volunteered like 15 times and you got them all correct. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, you might be right.
You know exactly what I want to say.
So, Shayla, what am I solving for? How do I know? Fill it in. I think we're good with finding variables. Now we're going to move on to manipulating equations. That's where you're going to need these little things. So get them ready if they're not.
Manipulating?
Yes. So Miss Smith in class was just giving you the equations we're gonna do the full thing just like everyone else.
She wasn't giving us equations.
Well, you weren't fully manipulating. You were just plugging in. We're doing a different thing. We're doing the harder skill, which you'll need in geometry anyway.
Solve it. Weren't we solving it in class?
Yeah.
You were plugging in, right?
Yeah.
All the numbers into this big equation.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm gonna show you a better way to do it.
Okay.
All right, next page. Flip it up. This is too tall for me. You should be on page 2.
The struggle.
It really is a struggle, William. You have no idea.
Have you ever tried to take your clothes out of the laundry thing and you gotta like jump
Climb
up
in?
on? Yes. Oh my goodness, that's a struggle.
All right. I'm going to give you some random data, and I want you to plug it in.
I'm happy I'm solving.
Just write it in.
You put 20.
Oh, it's in there already?
And
Can
80,
someone read it to me?
20, 40.
80.
Wait. Someone, one person, please. Darren, go ahead.
20.
Ah.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Yep. And then what?
40.
40. What?
Oh, I got it.
Wait,
All right. Make it milliliters. What about the next one? 20 Kelvin. 0.80 or 80? 80 ATM. Did I give you V2?
Nope.
No.
Question mark.
60K.
60.
All right, so here's your data. We're not worrying about pulling it out of the equation. Out of the word problem. We already did that. Now we're worried about manipulating an equation, and we're going to do that together in a second. But first of all, let's answer our first mini question. What are we looking for here? Darren?
The volume.
V1 or V2?
V2.
Okay. So V2. Write the combined gas law equation below. If anyone could read it to me. Carl, could you read that to me so I could write it in?
P1.
Yep.
V1.
Yep.
P1.
Yep.
Equals P2.
Yep.
C2. P2.
Perfect. Okay, write that in. And then this is where we're going to use our little manipulatives.
What if Jeff?
If we could, I'm actually going to use Darren's to show you how to do this. So, Jose and William and everyone, can you come over here? And stand behind behind Darren, so you can see how I do this.
Strike 3.
You know how many times people got me and Rosella's like mixed up in English class? You never hear it?
Oh, I.
This word, she'd be like, Asira, okay.
William and Jose, come on over.
Where we at though?
Jose, you want to hold the camera?
Yes.
It needs to see this thing.
Could you just flip the camera?
Do it again.
No, not while you're already recording. So you might want to stand behind Darren. And I'll tell you, you might have to hold it over.
Don't you?
It's going.
Yeah, that looks good. All right, everyone come over real quick. Carol, come on over.
I got the gas. I'm not afraid to use it.
Darren, the camera loves
So
you.
you can see how I do this.
I'm not ready to use it.
Can you see from there?
Oh.
Okay. So, all right, this is my cool little trick. Now, Miss Smith was teaching you, okay, if you have all these variables, William, just plug them all in. That gets really complicated, okay? This is how you can do it to make it easier. I'm looking for V2, so I take my paper clip and I put it on V2 because I don't want it to move. I will not touch that. Asira, P2, is it above or below the division sign?
Above.
So is that multiplication or division? Multiplication.
Speak louder.
So if it's being multiplied over here, I want to do the opposite, the inverse operation. What's the opposite of multiplication, William? What's the opposite of multiplication?
Division.
Okay.
Speak louder.
So watch what I do. It's being multiplied up here. I'm going to bring it over to the other side as division, which is underneath the symbol. What other thing do I have to get rid of over here?
The T2.
The T2. Is it above or below the sign? So does that mean multiplication or division?
Multiplication.
Division.
No, division.
Division. So if it's being divided over here, you have to multiply it. So should I bring it to the top or the bottom? The top. Now look at this. V2, and there's your equation. You have all your numbers to plug in. All you have to do is multiply on one side. You no longer have to multiply on this side, then multiply on this side, and then divide and figure out all these things. Now we just do this.
Stop.
So, now we're going to try it. Put them back normally. We're going to try it together. Thanks, Jose. All right. Did I give you data for the second one too?
No, I feel like you're not.
I gave you data?
Yeah,
Alright.
It's a big thing.
I'm going to go to the second one.
Okay. I've been on camera before.
Are we ready? And I need, Shayla, will you read me what to fill in here? What did I have for P1?
10, 10,
V1?
20, yellow,
T1?
10K,
P2?
50, 10,
V2?
100,
And T2 was question mark?
Yep.
Okay. So what are we looking for here, Darren?
Temperature.
Temperature 1 or 2?
2.
Okay.
What are you looking for the 10?
Take your combined gas law equation that's in front of you and either take your paperclip. If you lost the paperclip, that's fine. Put your pencil, put something on it on T2 to make sure that we're not going to move it.
That was PT.
Nope, we're looking for T2.
Oh.
We want that guy to stay on its own side. You're going to write the final equation when you're done. Alright, so we have T2 that we want by itself. What do I need to get rid of on this side?
The P2. You gotta put it under together.
Above or below the equation P2? Is it above or below?
Multiply.
This means multiply, so what should I do over here? Multiply or divide?
Multiply.
This is multiply, what's the opposite?
199.
Divide. So should I put it up here or down there?
Down there.
Perfect. What about this one, Darren?
Down there.
Down here too? Why? What does this signify? Multiplication or division?
Multiplication.
Okay, so you're saying the opposite's division?
Mm-hmm.
So bring it down here?
Yes.
Okay. But now I get a problem. I have 1 over T2. That doesn't make sense. I need T2 at the top.
So,
It's not that simple. What would I do?
Just multiply to the top. It's just like this. Like multiply between T2 and combine P1.
We could do that.
Something like this.
B2 what? I'm confused. What do you mean?
with this.
Alright, let me write this out. The combined gas law is P1, V1, T1. P2, V2, T2. Alright, so which one am I keeping? Which one did I want? T1 or T2? T2, okay. So I'm going to circle it. But it's at the bottom. That's an issue. Huh? What would I do? I want it up here. So I'm going to move it up there. Now it's gone. But now what do I need to do? I want him all by himself. Where would I move this guy? To the top or the bottom?
That makes the most sense. I'm so confused.
He starts at the bottom.
Oh.
So I'm going to move him to the...
This is more confusing than the other one. The other one.
This is the hardest one. And then P1 and V1 start at the top, so where should I bring them on the other side? The bottom. Then I have my T2 at top. This is the most confusing one, so we got through it.
Everyone with the question mark would be by itself, and then the other ones would just move to the top by the mother, and that's what they're using.
So let's try another one. We'll try a simpler one.
Oh, great.
We'll do it all together. Alright, put them back to their normal spots.
My brain can't handle this nonsense formula talk.
Alright, ready? Let's solve for V1. Put your paper clip on V1 or your pencil or something to tell us that we're not going to move it. William,
What?
on V1. We want V1 by itself. So William, if we want this all by itself, what's one thing we have to get rid of over here? Well, it started at the top, so we're going to bring it to the other side, top or bottom. We do the opposite.
Damn it, bottom.
Okay, this one starts at the bottom.
To the top.
Perfect. Alright, so Darren, this one starts at the top, that's multiplication. What's the opposite of multiplication?
Divide. This should belong to the bottom.
Okay. What about this one? Starts at the,
Like 25 seconds.
this starts at the
Bottom.
bottom. What does that mean, multiplication or division?
Then opposite of divide and multiply.
Okay, so where do I bring it? You tell me where to bring it.
It's just
I'm not sure if this makes sense. Oh,
Perfect. There you go, you solved.
I'm still lost. I'm sorry. I'm just like, I don't know what to say. I'm just like kind of a little bit stutter at that moment. Like, something like that. Like, is this how you do the formula? Like, that's for surely. Are you sure that's the formula?
Yep, so Miss Smith, if you guys feel confident in doing this, you can flip to the next page. There's a couple of problems where you put it all together. Because then we're going to do your chemistry homework that involves this. So, Darren, let's say, see this problem? We were solving for V2, right? Now, Miss Smith told you to plug in all the numbers you know and then solve. Then you have to multiply on this side, and then divide. It gets a little confusing. It gets a little confusing because there's numbers on both sides. So if we want to solve for V2, just like we said, we do something called manipulate the equation. Manipulate means to take and change. So we want to, William, move on to the next stage. If you need to work with your partner, you can.
Can we just do it the way we know? It was confusing.
Yeah.
If you feel like that's a better option for you, you're going to have to eventually do this. So we want to solve for V2. So in order to solve for V2, we need to get rid of everything else next to it.
So we
Okay.
still to 35?
So what are the two
It's only
things we need to get
10:25.
rid of on this side?
You got here at
For some reason, the T1 should belong to the top. The top should be T1. And bottom, meaning that should be like correct.
Alright, you're getting ahead of yourself. You're going on the right track, but you're going too fast. What two things over here do I have to get rid of? Just tell me what they are.
T2.
And
P.
P2. Perfect. Now, you told me P2's at the top or bottom?
It should be in the, if it's in the top, then it has to belong in the bottom.
Right, because
the
at
left.
the top, does that mean multiplication or division?
That's multiplication that side.
And the opposite is
Divide.
divide, which is at the bottom.
Mhm.
So I'm going to take it, and I'm going to bring it to the other side in the bottom.
Oh wait, I'm not sure if this should make sense. So if this belongs in the bottom, then I know it has to be multiplication. Then I should either go on the left or the right.
Now, let me ask you this question before you guess. If I just bring this up here, did I get V2 by itself?
Not even
No.
close, not even close.
So I should bring it to the top on the other side.
And multiply that number times that
And
number.
now, Darren, now the cool thing is,
I usually remember
we're solving for V2.
Mhm.
It's like uncomfortable.
T2, do we have our number?
Yes, 500K.
P1, do we have our number?
Yes.
V1?
Yes.
P2?
Yes.
T1?
Yes.
Now it's just simple math on this side.
So multiply all three of them, and as soon as I multiply that final answer, I divide that once. Yeah. So
Okay,
see,
that's just.
it's starting to make sense at the end of the part since we like
That was
since we summed the numbers up
Okay.
and like
Now it's clearer with real numbers.
Yeah, and then that's how we got the final answer if we're looking for the volume.
If you need a calculator, you can use your phone or ask someone who does have a
That's
phone.
so sad. I don't have my phone.
Well, my
So
phone's
Darren,
off,
let's
so-
try and solve for P1.
Okay,
I want you to do it all by yourself.
so
And you can talk if you want. I want to hear your thought process.
does that require me to like change the numbers all over the place or something like that?
Well-
if I go to like on for example 3. Oh, sorry, I did 3. Sorry.
It's alright, I'll fix it. Let's go to this one. Actually, I don't like that one. Let's go to,
No, you did.
This smells really bad.
here we're solving for V2.
Yes.
Let's do it. What would I do? We're solving for this one. So do I want these two things here or do I need to get rid of them?
Get rid of them.
How am I going to do it?
Some reason I'm just trying to guess on this one. If T2 is in the bottom, then it's divide. Then I'm assuming it's like we did last time, and that one you just showed up on like on your phone.
Yeah.
Then we should go ahead to the left next to P1 and V1.
Perfect.
And for P2, if it's in the top, since we want to have V2 by itself, then it should belong to the bottom. To next to T1.
Okay. So now do I have V2 all by itself?
Yes. Oh, okay.
Let's do that.
Okay, makes sense. Totally making sense. Right.
Hold on, Sheila. I'll check in 1 second. Now I want you, without me even looking, solve for that one. I'll come over and check it in a second.
Oh.
Alright, let's see. Let me get my.
Wow, Jose. How's that work going?
Hand it out, fair play for us.
Turn this off.